Imagine the relentless itch and unsightly hives of chronic spontaneous urticaria, CSU, disrupting your daily life. Now picture relief arriving in just 3 days. That's the game-changing promise of Povorcitinib, a breakthrough treatment that's turning heads in the allergy world. In an engaging interview at the 2025 American College of Allergy, Asthma, and Immunology, ACAI, annual scientific meeting in Orlando, check out more at https://www.hcpleaf.com/conference/ACAI. Dr. Weilly Soong from Weilly Health in Birmingham, Alabama, unveiled exciting Phase 2 trial results. Povorcitinib, a targeted JAK1 inhibitor, swiftly eases the torment of hives and itching in people battling CSU, a condition where skin welts appear spontaneously and persist for over 6 weeks without an obvious trigger. Dive deeper into CSU insights here. https://www.hcpleaf.com/clinical/dermatology. By specifically blocking key inflammatory signals like IL-4, IL-13, IL-31, and IL-6, molecules that fuel immune overreactions, this oral medication not only curbs symptoms rapidly but also boasts a solid safety record, making it a potential lifeline for those tired of endless discomfort. As part of our live coverage from the event, we caught up with Dr. Soong to unpack these discoveries. He explains how soon patients notice real changes, why the push for innovative CSU treatments is more urgent than ever, and where research on Povorcitinib might head next. Whether you're a doctor seeking better options or someone curious about managing this frustrating condition, this conversation sheds light on hope for faster, more accessible relief. HCPleaf, could you give us a quick overview of the standout results from the Povorcitinib study in chronic spontaneous urticaria? Soong, at the 75 mg dosage, patients experienced a remarkable 22% reduction from their starting point in the weekly Urticaria Activity Score, UAS-7, and this improvement was backed by strong statistical evidence. Even more impressively, the relief from itching kicked in super quickly, often within the initial 2 to 3 days of treatment. For beginners unfamiliar with UAS-7, it's basically a simple scoring system that tracks the severity of hives and itch over a week, helping doctors measure how well a therapy is working day by day. HCPleaf, how fast did folks in the trial start seeing substantial relief from their hives and itch, and how does that stack up against what's available now? Soong, by day 3, the overall urticaria scores had dropped significantly across the board. When you compare this to injectable biologics such as omalizumab or dupilumab, which are powerhouses but can take weeks to fully ramp up, Povorcitinib acts much more promptly. That said, it's on par with BTK inhibitors like remibrutinib in terms of speed. Keep in mind, though, there haven't been any direct comparison trials yet, so these are educated observations rather than definitive rankings. And this is the part most people miss. While faster onset sounds ideal, individual responses can vary, so tailoring treatment to each patient's needs remains key. HCPleaf, what makes the demand for fresh, effective CSU treatments so critical right now, especially for those who don't respond to antihistamines or even advanced biologics? Soong, there's a massive gap in care for CSU patients that we simply can't ignore. Many folks hesitate to jump into biologic therapies, particularly if their symptoms are relatively new. A common misconception is that CSU stems from outside culprits like allergens, leading people to obsess over diet tweaks, switching laundry detergents, or avoiding certain hobbies in a desperate search for the cause. For example, someone might eliminate dairy or change their soap brand, only to stay miserable as the hives persist. This reluctance and frustration highlight why we urgently need simpler, oral options that patients are more willing to try early on, potentially preventing years of suffering. But here's where it gets controversial. Some experts argue that overemphasizing environmental triggers delays proper treatment, while others believe empowering patients to explore these factors builds trust in the care process. What do you think? does this patient-led detective work help or hinder progress? HCP-LIF, as an oral selective inhibitor, how does povorcitinib fit into the underlying biology of CSU, and in what ways might it stand apart from today's biologic injections? Soong, at its core, CSU involves overactive mast cells in the skin. These are like tiny immune sentinels that release histamine unpredictably, sparking hives and itch. Autoantibodies, which are misguided immune proteins, often flip the switch on these cells. Povorcitinib steps in as a JAK1 inhibitor to interrupt that cycle by dialing down the production and activation of these troublemaking elements. Plus, it targets each specific pathways common in chronic urticaria, offering relief beyond just the hives. Unlike biologics, which are large proteins injected to neutralize specific antibodies, this small molecule pill works inside the cells to block signaling from the start, potentially making it easier for everyday use without needles. For those new to this, think of biologics as locking the barn door after the horse escapes, while JAK inhibitors prevent the horse from even getting agitated in the first place. HCP-LIF, were there any other notable results on how well it worked? Soong, yes, by the 12-week mark, about 50% of patients achieve a complete hive-free status, score of 0, and 53% reported no itch at all. These numbers suggest a strong chance of substantial, if not total, symptom control, which is encouraging for long-term management. HCP-LIF, what did the study say about the safety and how well patients tolerated povorcitinib? Soong, we evaluated 3 different doses, 15 mg, 45 mg, and 75 mg, and all were generally well received, with no major red flags popping up. The side effects that cropped up most often were mild things like acne breakouts, headaches, and common colds, nasopharyngitis. Interestingly, the 3 serious issues reported were all in the placebo group. On the discontinuation front, 2 people on 45 mg stopped due to tinnitus, ringing in the ears, and a skin abscess under the surface, while 2 on the 75 mg dose bowed out because of elevated serum ferritin levels, a blood marker sometimes linked to inflammation and worsening acne. Overall, the profile looks promising, but as with any med, monitoring is essential. HCP-LIF, looking ahead, what's on the horizon for povorcitinib development? Soong, this research underscores that JAK inhibitors could be a valuable addition to the CSU treatment arsenal, offering quick and reliable options. However, the company's CSU program for povorcitinib is currently paused as they shift focus to other priorities, a decision that might frustrate some in the field, but business realities often dictate these paths. Subtly controversial take, is putting innovative therapies like this on hold a smart strategic move, or does it risk leaving patients in the lurch? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Do you agree with the company's pivot, or should research push forward regardless? References: Soong W., Rapid Symptom Relief from Hives and Itch with Povorcitinib in Chronic Spontaneous Urticaria Patients. Presented at the 2025 ACAI meeting in Orlando, Florida. Newsletter. Stay ahead of the curve with thousands of fellow clinicians. Sign up for HPLIF's newsletter to get the latest on emerging treatments, clinical trial updates, and expert perspectives delivered straight to your inbox.